What's up, guys? It's McNulty here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. So today, the November 2024 balance update has dropped, and there has been quite a lot of changes to quite a few things, including the passive skills for a lot of the families, which we are going to go over in a bit of detail. Of course, this is available on the community forum, so if you want to go ahead and have a read, suit yourself. But if you'd rather listen to me talk about these updates and what I think they mean, then welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're all here. So there have been massive changes, and before we go over any of these changes, I just want to start by saying one thing. I like, and I'm all for, any kind of balance updates that favor the attacking team, because the defensive teams in Empires and Puzzles have just gotten ridiculously overpowered. Anything we can do to be able to increase the odds of you being able to get the upper hand in battle on attack, that's what I'm really for. I don't think we need any more buffs or boosts or anything like that to defensive heroes, because you can already increase the power of your defensive teams to no end. So anyways, with that being said, we will have a look into what they've done here. So we can see there's a bunch of new passive skills for the Slayers family. The Moonrise Strike has been buffed. Some buffs for the Owl family, and some buffs for the Slayers, and some buffs for the Fawns, some buffs for pretty much every single family. We've got the ninjas in here, and we've got all of the Hero of the Month buffs as well. These should be pretty good leading into the costume summon, and we are going to be taking a closer look at the costume summon in a very in a video that I'm going to get round to as soon as I can get round to it. But yeah. So we'll start off with the Owl family here. So the Moonrise Strike now always hits their targets. So bad luck for the Foxes, especially Spiffy McSpiffington, who's just been released today. Sorry for you, my boy, but you're now in trouble, because the Owl family never misses and the Astral Elves never miss. So we're just adding insult to injury for these Foxes. Unfortunately, those minions are going to do nothing against these families now. So the great thing about this update is that it not only affects the legendary heroes, because we have seen before where passives are introduced, they only affect the legendary heroes, or where skills are introduced. So with this one, it affects the legendary heroes, all of the legendary owls, all of the epic owls, and the rare owl that we have, Featherino. Now, I'm not saying that we have enough epics and rares. I really do think we're lacking in that department for pretty much every single family in the game. But what I am saying is I like the fact that it affects both the epics and the rares, as well as the legendary heroes. So that is now the Owl family never missing. The Winter family, just in time for the Christmas portal, we have a new costume bonus update. So they used to get 22% attack, 20 defense, 25 health, and the 5% mana. That's now been increased to 35% attack, defense, and health, and a 5% mana bonus as well. So that's really going to be good for any of you who've got costumes already for the Winter family heroes. They're just going to be that bit more powerful, which is always nice. It's always useful. We have a big update as well for the Defenders of Atlantis and Nightmares of Atlantis family. So their costume now unlocks a passive skill. And get this, they can resist insanity. So again, like I said before in the beginning, we are going to be getting the Insanity Wars. So it's a big thing, obviously, if you want to be competitive in those wars, having these Defenders of Atlantis and Nightmares of Atlantis families, they're going to give you that passive where you can resist insanity. So that's massive. But in the general gameplay, this is going to have much more of an effect for attacking teams than it is on defense. Because not a lot of people use, some of the top tier people use insanity on defense, and they're just a kind of annoyance. So being able to have that extra resistance against insanity when you're going up against them, it's really going to make things that much nicer for you to play on attack. Even if you do have members of the cultists and the investigator families, when you're attacking, I think for a lot of them, I would probably rather not have the insanity effect, if I'm totally honest. So it might seem like a massive thing. It is going to be pretty cool for those heroes, but not stupendously broken and not a humongous skill for defensive teams. And that's what we're looking for. Anything buffing defensive teams is going to be a massive no-no. But anything buffing attackers, I couldn't care less. I really think it's decent. The Fawn family will be the next family to be getting buffs. So the new family bonus effect is increased damage against minions. Again, a really, really good effect for attacking teams, because we know how annoying the Unstoppable Minions passive has become from the War of Three Kingdoms heroes. So getting that extra damage against minions is just going to be a plus for you on your attack teams. We don't know exactly how much increased damage it's going to be, but any little bit of increased damage is still going to be good. And again, this is not just affecting the legendary heroes, but also the rare hero that we have in that family, Saskia. Fingers and toes crossed, there is an epic to come in the near future. But for now, I'm all for that family bonus, the increased damage against minions for the Fawns. The Villain family, we will also give them a family bonus effect where they get increased damage against minions. It affects the legendary, the epic, and the rare heroes. So any of those heroes are going to get extra damage against minions. Again, we don't know exactly how much extra damage, but we are now seeing costumes released. Obviously, the first one just recently for Dark Lord. Toxicandra costume should be really good. And we'll see about some of the others. Maybe Asterius might be a pretty good one as well, but they definitely need that boost. And starting with the passive, that's fine. I know that, they're not for boosting the stats. They've made it pretty clear that they're going to release costumes for a lot of the heroes, but still, it's a pretty decent effect. Next family that we've got, buff that we've got, is to the November Hero of the Month. So we've got Thoth Amun, whose regular version is going to receive a damage increase from 280 up to 310%. It's not a very big increase, and his minion's going to receive an HP and attack increase as well, but really the base version for him is not great. The costume will be available in the Outfitters, but it's not one that I would particularly recommend. So the costume's also going to be getting a buff from 300 to 330% on the attack, and then the minion from 22 to 27, and attack from 22 to 27. Again, I'm not hugely sort of over the moon about that, but about that buff to Thoth Amun. Zimkeitha, on the other hand, I really, really do think that her costume is going to be one that if you don't have, or if you have Zimkeitha, I would definitely consider her costume if you are, looking at the Outfitters seriously, because the direct damage has been increased from 180 to 210, and she increases her maximum damage based on the amount of buffs that she dispels up to 390%. So that's a fast speed hit all anywhere from, anywhere up to 390%, which is pretty huge. So I do like the update for the Zimkeitha costume. Glenda, increase in her direct damage. I mean, she's not really that much about direct damage, and that's not going to do anything for her at all. Bulbar, probably one of my least favorite heroes still. I couldn't care less about the increase in the damage. He's still a pretty trashy hero. Morax, pretty decent hero. I think kind of more of a flash in the pan, but his stats are super dated now. We are going to be seeing an increase in the direct damage up to 430% and an increase in the max health reduction to 600. It's okay if you've already got him maxed, but if you don't have him maxed, I wouldn't max him just because of this buff. Nima, again, the same thing. If you already have her maxed, she is going to get a slight damage increase, but really nothing to make you want to suddenly level that hero. Now moving on to more new passive skills. So a new one we have is going to be resist status effect damage. So this will grant the hero inherent resistance to incoming damage from status effects, and it's been added for the Slayer family. So the new costumes coming out for the Slayer family will have it. It should then be added for the older heroes as well, but it replaces status ailment damage reduction. Now, having status ailment immunity is, I shouldn't need to say this, but having status ailment immunity is far more useful than having status ailment damage reduction. So that is a really, really good skill. So no status ailments against these heroes. They're not going to do any damage. Poison, burn, water, frost, forget about it. It's going to do nothing to the Slayer family heroes. And again, that applies to both the legendaries and the epics, and also the rares as well. So when you get into the tournaments and things like that at epic level, don't forget about guys like Cillian, because he's not going to be susceptible to any kind of elemental damage or damage over time, sorry. And also the rare level as well. I think for the tournaments, you can play pretty well with these heroes if you do have them leveled again. I wouldn't necessarily recommend leveling most of them, but I do think Cillian's definitely got some uses. Yeah, so that's the Slayer family. They're going to be getting that bonus. We're going to have that added as well. So the status element immunity for heroes from the Challenge Festival 1. Tweedles, Black Caesar, Guardian Elephant, and Cinderella. All really, really good heroes, and giving them ailment immunity is just going to make them that much more survivable. Again, more on attack than defense. This one, though, with the ailment immunity completely, I believe would be a decent talent for defense. But then we're getting used to the fact that the Toons have a 75% chance to resist ailment damage and all kinds of other damage as well. This is just damage from the ailments, but I do think this is need to err on the side of caution with this one because it is a defensive buff as well. Now, next passive skill we have is the minion health reduction. This one I love. So it reduces the inherited health of all enemy minions by 50%. Just thank you for that breath of fresh air. Pardon me. Because the minions have been getting some ridiculous health stats, like 1500 HP on a minion. So this passive will reduce the inherited health of all the enemy minions by 50%. And this has been added for the members of the Ninja family and replaces the old resist negative minion effects passive skill. So when it says Ninja family, it will not probably apply to the whole Ninja family because not the whole Ninja family had that skill. I must say I haven't gone in and checked my roster, which I can't right now because I'm on the forum page. But I'm pretty sure that if I could, it wouldn't apply to the whole family. So that is kind of a downer. It'd be nice if it applied to the older ninjas as well. I think, that should definitely be a consideration where we do get that resistance or the reduction of the inherited health by 50% for every single ninja. You've said it applies to members, or it says newer members of the ninja family. So again, like I'm, talking out my ass right now because it's going to apply only to the newer members of the ninja family. So those will be your legendary heroes listed there. Tora, Iga, Chikao, Umiko, and Malam. Epic, we've got Osamu, so it will apply to him as well. But this part, it's been added for the members of the Styx family. So this means that you can now take one of your Styx heroes that's been sitting there. Maybe you've had Hypnos sitting in your roster and you don't use him anymore. You've been looking for a reason to take him back out. Or maybe you've got Erebus or Nyx or, whoever else, Nemesis that you've got sitting there. Now they get a 50% reduction on the enemy minions. So the next time you see a costume Dia-chan tank, you can just pop in Nemesis and another few holy heroes, and those minions are going to have at least half of their health when they're summoned. So it is a small mercy, but it's nice that it's been added for all of the members of the Styx family, including one of my favorite epics, which is Steropes. And I'm telling you guys now, this dude is freaking awesome. He might just be a 4-star, but I still love him. Looks like Alan from The Hangover. And we've got a running joke in my alliance that nobody understands why I like this guy. But I still go and wreck them on the regular using Steropes. So yeah, I love him. I'm probably going to second limit break him soon, to be honest. So yeah, that's for the Styx family. Now, the Construct family will also get an additional passive skill, which is going to be Resist Special Blocking. Very niche, I must say. It's really kind of niche where you have heroes that sort of work on blocking special skills. I don't think that's been really used very much, but it is now there. So you can't block them from being able to use their special skill. It's kind of niche. It does apply to all of the heroes in the Construct family though, so you now know that you're going to be able to cast your special regardless of what the enemy try and do to you, and that again applies to all the legendaries and the epic and the rare as well. I mean, you can see the massive list of legendaries. This is kind of a problem, and I think Small Giant must have sort of clicked onto this by now, because look at the massive list of legendary heroes that we've got there. There must be at least 20. And then we've got one epic and one rare. That's just laughable. I mean, come on, guys, seriously. But yeah, that being said, this is a mess up that's been made over many, many years. And I feel like these kind of updates that we're having now are doing things to slightly, to make things better. Like we had the recent quality of life improvements, like we've got everything coming up with the outfitters and everything else. I can appreciate it's not going to happen overnight, but you've dug your own hole. Now you got to freaking dig yourself out. Anyways, that is it for all of the updates that we've got coming in the November balance update. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for quite a lot of them, to be fair. I think mostly I'm excited about the reduction in minion health for the Styx family. The other ones as well, the Hero of the Month buffs and some of the costume buffs, especially for the Winter family, I think are really, really good. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this update. Please do tell me what you think. Drop us a like and obviously subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Share it with your mother, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.